This is TWiT.
So Google Maps and Apple Maps kind of are fighting for my attention right now.
The good news is if your automobile has CarPlay, you can use both now, thank goodness. And a third party, which is Google's Waze. Google bought Waze some time ago. That's the crowdsourced map app.
Now,
do you ever use that?
I just started using Waze, and that was one of the ones that I wanted to talk about specifically.
And by the way, they've added slowly over time. Google's taken more and more of Waze and put it in Google Maps. For instance, you can now report incidents on Google Maps. That used to be the real selling point for me of Waze. They would say there's a speed trap up ahead or there's an accident up ahead. My big problem, it's happened to me several times now, and I think it's because we live in Northern California, but there's always garden equipment in the road. Have you run into that yet? Beware. There'll be rakes, there'll be hose, there'll be weed whackers, there'll be lawnmowers in the road.
Lawnmowers,
and I've hit them several times. The last time my insurance company said, "Well, that was your fault.
Oh,
you should have not hit it." And I said, "But I didn't see it until the car in front of me switched out of the lane, and there it is all of a sudden."
Okay, so I've had that. Yeah, there was like a box in the road, and the person didn't switch until the last minute.
So Waze, you can say,
"Hey, I saw a box."
In fact, Waze even has a thing where you can wave your hand over it and say, "There's a box in the road," and it knows where you are. It'll put a pin in there. And I like that kind of heads up that Waze gives you. Google Maps has started doing that lately as well.
Yeah, so let's...
Incident ahead.
Oh, there's an incident
ahead.
So first of all, I love this app because you get to choose the voice.
Who are you using?
Oh, that's so Cookie
funny.
Monster.
Oh, that's so funny. I thought it was Hulk Hogan for a minute.
Turn left. Nom, nom, whoa, nom, nom, nom.
Oh, that's hysterical.
And then turn right.
Is that not the cutest thing? So this morning on the way to work, Cookie Monster was letting me know, because there are a couple routes from my place to work to go. And of course, I'm not going to triangulate. But, and depending on how the traffic is doing, I can take one of the two routes. And so I went ahead and turned it on. And Cookie Monster said, just go ahead and take the highway. That's the best way to go.
So funny.
And those voices change all the time. So sometimes it's Cookie Monster. I think before it's been like a rapper. I think like T-Pain or something.
This is kind of the fun thing about this. Anybody can record these. I have recorded Waze directions.
That's actually one of the things I was going to mention was that I could have Leo tell me how to get to work in the morning or back from work. And
it's not a good idea.
Here's what else I like about Waze is that you can see here, find the best time to leave. So if I tap view more times, it's predicting traffic at different times and telling you, hey, if you want to arrive at your destination within a specific period of time, now's a good time to go or now's not a great time to go, depending on what traffic usually looks like. And so yesterday, when I was trying out Waze from here to my house, it said, hey, if you wait 10 minutes, you're going to get there a lot faster. You're not going to be sitting in traffic. So I said, you know what, Waze? You know what, Cookie Monster? I'm going to listen to you. I don't understand. There's a like collection point system in this, and I haven't figured out how that works. So someone who uses...
it's for carpools.
This was like, it had candy in the road for me. It said...
they gamified it a little bit.
Yeah, there's like gamifying, and I don't know what
I've always ignored that. I feel like that's dangerous. Yeah. I do... Now, there's aesthetically two things about Waze. One I dislike, which is that it's very plain. You don't get a satellite view. Mm-hmm. You get a street view. I guess if you're navigating, that's probably better. The thing I do like is you could see other Wazers, and the different Wazers on the road have different icons. And yes, there's candy. I think the candy indicates you've gone a certain number of miles. It's like
Can you like trade them in for something?
No, I think it just indicates. It is really handy to have the colors on the roads, and Google Maps does this now too. And they're I believe, getting the information from Waze. Where when it's red like this, you'll see the average speed, 24 miles an hour.
I loved that yesterday.
I think that's really, really handy.
Because sometimes you just suddenly come upon, now we're at start-stop traffic.
Right.
And we didn't know. Waze uses a point system to track how much you use it.
Yeah.
Different actions give you different number of points.
They're trying to encourage you.
Oh, it's a leaderboard.
Yeah. Oh, you don't know about the leaderboard, huh?
That's one of those.
Oh, yeah, that's fun. I actually would recommend having all three. You're going to have Apple Maps on any Apple device anyway, but I would recommend installing Google Maps and Waze. And if you use CarPlay, the good news is you can choose from any of those 3 maps as your navigation. And what we'll do when Lisa and I are going, for instance, going to the city where traffic is notoriously unreliable, or if we're in Los Angeles where it's just bad
always
any hour of the day, is before we go, we'll get the route on our Google Maps, but I will check Waze to see if Waze agrees with Google Maps and if there are any trouble spots.
Like it.
And Waze really, the rerouting on Waze, in my experience, is pretty trustworthy. Have you found that?
Yeah, so that's been one of the things is that, Cookie Monster says, hey, you should go this way. And I'm like, you know what, Cookie Monster? I trust you with my whole heart.
Wow.
And Cookie Monster has not let me down in that.
No.
And that's one of the things that I do appreciate it. It's interesting, the sort of this app, more than any others that I've used in terms of mapping, it has a lot more advertising that happens in it.
That's recent. They've really monetized it, haven't they?
Yeah.
You see a CVS store and you tap it and it says, here's a coupon for,
I went to the pharmacy yesterday to pick up some medicine, and on my way there, it was like, hey, we've got some coupons for you.
Yeah.
And then there was another one about, oh goodness, now I can't remember what it was, but it popped up and said, oh, it was for parking. It could give you like a discount on parking in certain places, which is nice, but it did feel a little like, I just want you to tell me where I'm supposed to be going.
Yeah. The real value of Waze, I don't know if you do this, is the crowdsourced information.
Absolutely.
If I tap, for instance, in this slow traffic, if I tap this traffic jam button, you could see 2 people have reported it 40 seconds ago by Earth time. I can, as I go by it, say, yep, he's right, or I can add my own comment to it, a public comment. I think all of this makes it very valuable, but I do, and I think others have said this too, I do worry that it's distracting. So ideally, you're not doing this while you're driving.
Exactly.
But I do think that we all help each other by using Waze. Even if you don't report incidents, at least by using it, you're giving this
That's
speed
important
information
for people to know. So you can turn on and off the functionality to have your Waze information sent, because it is, as you're using it, crowdsourcing. And so once you get to your location, if you want to stop that, then you can do so. You can also just force quit the app to do it that way if you want. And essentially what that does is says, hey, stop sending my data to the system, and I don't want to sort of contribute at that time.
Yeah.